Good morning everyone. Myself Komal Verma, Assistant Professor, School of Pharmacy, BBD University, Lucknow. Today I will discuss an important topic, types of movable joint. Types of movable joint. The junction between two or more bone with the exception of hyoid bone. Every bone in the body is connected to form a joint. There are 230 joints in the body. A joint is the location at which two or more bones make contact. They are constructed to allow movement and provide functionally mechanically support and classified structurally and functionally. Structure classification is determined by how the bones connect to each other, while functional classification is to determine by the degree of movement between the articulating bone. First is ball and socket joint. Ball and socket. The definition of ball and socket joint. A ball and socket joint allowed for movement in all directions with a rounded bone head fitting into a cup-shaped socket. It consists of a bone with a ball-shaped head that attaches with the cup-shaped cavity of another bone. The type of joints allow for a wider range of motion than any the kind. It permits movement in all planes and a rotational movement around a central axis. Example: the shoulder and hip joints are the only ball and socket joint in the human body. The benefits of the ball and socket joint. This type of joints provide maximum range of motion, enabling activity like throwing a ball or kicking a football. Hinge joints. Hinge joints, they allow movement only in one plane. In this, one bone is of convex shape and another one is of concave shape. Convex end of one bone attached with the concave end of each other bone, like elbow joint and knee joints. Ankle joints are hinge joint. The elbow allows you to bend and straighten your arm. Function of hinge joint. These joints are essential for walking, running, and many other everyday movements. Pivot joint. This joint movement, the pivot joint, allow for rotational movement around a central axis. This joint allow movement only one plane. In pivot joint, one bone is rounded or pointed shape in which other bone is attached. Rounded bone is fixed and other bone rotated over it. Like example, atlas and axis joint. Function of the pivot joint. This joint enable you to turn your head from side to side. Next is candyloid joint. Candyloid joint is also known as ellipsoid joint. In this end of both the bone are concave shape. Structure of the candyloid joint. Candyloid joint have an oval shaped bone head that fit into an elliptical socket. The location of the candyloid joint found in the wrist and the base of the finger. Motion of the candyloid joint. These joints permit movement in two planes: flexion, extension, and abduction and adduction. Importance Candyloid joints are allowed for a wide range of motion, enabling intricate hand movement. The surface of the bone fits into socket, the end of the bone bearing articular surface called candyloid. These joints permit movement two directions. Saddle joint. Saddle joint shape. Both bones have a saddle-like shape with concave and convex surfaces. It is basically a type of ball and socket joint. In this convex head of one bone fixed into the other bone. The articulation of the surface are reciprocally saddle shaped like concave and convex. This unique articulation is modified candyloid joint that allow wide the range of movement. Example: the joint at the base of the thumb is a saddle joint. Function of the saddle joint. Saddle joint provides the thumb with its unique ability to oppose the finger. Gliding joint. Gliding joint. In gliding joint, bones are flatted shape. In this, bone easily glides or slides over each other. They are also known as planar joint. The surface of the gliding joint have flat or slightly curved bone shape that glide over each other. Movement. They allow for limited movement in all directions, gliding or sliding. The location of gliding joint found between the bone of the wrist and ankle bone as well as in the vertebra of the spine. The function of gliding joint. Gliding joint provide stability and allow for a small amount of movement, important for flexibility. Then it was the classification of joint based on its structure. Now we discuss next the classification of the joint on the basis of the function. Like on the basis of the function, joint can be classified into three categories: cynoarthrosis, amphiarthrosis and diarthrosis. Cynoarthrosis. What is cynoarthrosis? Cynoarthrosis is an immovable joint. They are generally fibrous joint. Example: suture of the skull. Next, amphiarthrosis. Amphiarthrosis is an slightly movable joint. They are generally cartilaginous joint. And example: pubic symphysis. And diarthrosis. Diarthrosis is a freely movable joint. It is a type of synovial joint. Example: shoulder joint, knee joint, etc. So, the joints is divided into two categories. Classified into two categories. Joint can be classified on the basis of two categories. First is on the basis of the structure. It was read on like saddle joint, hinge joint, ball and socket joint, pivot joint, gliding joint, candyloid joint. This is the base. This joint is based on the structure. Sinoarthrosis, amphiarthrosis, and diarthrosis. It is classified the joint basis on the function. So, this type of joints present in our body. It play various types of role for the movement of the body. Thank you.